if I told you that I had proof that for the last 6 months, the YouTube algorithm has been systemically crushing my YouTube channel like an empty soda can? And to be honest, I don't really care, and it's actually presenting a really unique opportunity to start doing some fun stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So let's hit the road on a bike that hasn't been featured in a hot minute on the channel and start talking about what's coming up in 2026.
You know, I bet you a good portion of people who are watching don't actually know what this motorcycle is. This is Aprilia Tuono RSVR number 176 of 200. I think there's only 50 of these in the United States. It is the very, very first model year of the Aprilia Tuono. Giant freaking V-twin in it. Big, comfy Italian naked bike from back when Italian bikes were gigantic instead of small little race bikes for aliens. Look at the grass back there. Some of the big farts coming out of the cannon will rustle the grass all the way back there. That's fun. Now, I have a suspicion I know how this video is going to be received. And I think it's going to be like, oh boy, here we go. Another one of these YouTuber complains that YouTube doesn't like their content anymore. And that is partially true and partially not. Because at the end of the day, there is nobody who is responsible for my content's performance other than this guy right here. Period. End of story. Every decision on the channel goes through me. Nothing happens without my say-so because it's my channel. I'm the only one who runs it. Every ad that gets put on the channel, every editing decision, for the most part, a lot of editing is actually going through Mario right now, my editor, who's been doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And I give him a lot of leeway, but I still have to approve everything that goes on the channel. So if the content isn't performing, at the end of the day, I'm the one to blame, not some algorithm. But it's not for the reasons that you'd think, perhaps. But the central pillar of what's happening in this video is viewership has cratered. The channel has basically fallen apart in the last 6 months. And I have some theories. I think some people who are like chronically online like me will remember back in August, a lot of big YouTubers were talking about this trend that they had noticed on their channel and their analytics where viewership went down like crazy. Some people reported a drop in revenue as well. Other people did not report a drop in revenue. But essentially, viewership was just not performing the way that they were used to. And there was no real explanation for it. A lot of people theorized that it had something to do with account verification, removing fake views, quote unquote. I never really understood what that meant. But at August 15th, I can point to that date specifically. Between August 15th and August 17th, something changed.
I experienced a 54.4% decrease in the average number of impressions month to month. That despite a change in the click-through rate of only 1%, which is non-existent. That means that every single time somebody was shown a video, they were just as likely to click on it pre and post change. The YouTube algorithm just stopped pushing the videos out to people for a reason I can't explain and has never recovered from. That brings us to this watch time chart right here, which shows the most successful videos on the channel as big peaks and the least successful ones as small peaks. What I'm seeing here, especially in the month of November, is we had 4 very successful videos. 2 of them were EICMA videos, one of them was actually at the show, the other was the tier list. Then I had my holiday buying guide video, which is essentially a fancy list video. And then I had me launching the Street Triple giveaway. All of those videos performed very well. And what you might think is, oh, I need to constantly be buying new motorcycles and I need to constantly be doing list videos. And that's not exactly accurate. What it does mean is I need to be a lot more selective about the videos that are going out on the channel because I can no longer count on the YouTube algorithm to just send it out to people. It seems like it's being way more stingy with its impressions now after this change.
And then there's shorts, and here I can essentially prove that there is a mix between YouTube's algorithm absolutely burying the content and the content not being up to snuff.
So what you're looking at here are some shorts curves. All of these are viewership up top and retention down bottom. And what you're seeing in the viewership is this steady up and to the right where all of them are outperforming the usual curve. And then all of a sudden they level out completely as YouTube cleaves off the viewership and basically stops pushing it. In fact, all of those shorts have not grown much in terms of viewership between now and when I grabbed those screenshots like a couple of weeks ago at this point. So if you're anything like me, you look at that and you're like, oh, that's some YouTube tomfuckery. But the problem is, Whitney took a look at it, and that retention curve underneath each one, she found that the retention isn't where it needs to be, which means that it's not perfectly optimized, and that's what's causing YouTube to not push it and cause the growth to stop. Now that kind of puts me at a crossroads, right? I could either make perfectly optimized content or just keep doing what I'm doing. And I'd much rather continue to do what I'm doing, because that optimized content, there are people out there who make it and it's really great and it performs super well. I just don't dig it personally. And if I'm not enjoying making something, why make it in the first place?
So what is the plan? We gonna keep just doing the same thing and expecting a different result? No, because that is not the definition of insanity, but it is kind of a waste of my time. I cannot in good conscience go out and spend an entire day trying to produce a video that'll go live the next day or the day after and make, you know, enough to pay for a Jimmy John's sandwich. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to finally, after threatening this for so long, I'm going to finally drop the number of videos I'm making per month to 5. That's 1 per week on average. And there may be an extra one thrown in there. For example, I'm currently working on a video talking about this DJI Action 6, which I absolutely love this freaking camera. It's such a great piece of kit. But that's not a video that I would deem worthy of taking up one of my 5 slots. So that's going to be an extra video that goes out that month. Oh my god. This bike is not quick, but it is fast, and it's so much fun. I freaking love V-twins, man. This motor is so much like the one that's in the Dorso, it's crazy. Despite being a Rotax and the other one's an Aprilia. We're gonna keep doing the reviews because that's what people really come here for, largely, is reviews. Now, I can't always get my hands on the newest and best bikes. I source almost every single one of my motorcycles from AF1 Racing here in Austin. They allow me to run roughshod over all their demo bikes, all their used bikes. So I have a lot of access there, but I don't have access to like Japanese bikes. And at the end of the day, that's what most people care about on YouTube, is they want to hear about the new MT-09, even though it's the same as the last year's MT-09, which is fine, but I don't have access to that bike. So instead, what I'm going to do, alongside the reviews, I'm going to bring back some of the scripted content that I did. And in fact, when we looked at some of the spikes that happened, those were all scripted content based around EICMA. One of the videos was completely unscripted. The other one was extremely heavily scripted, and that's actually the best performing video in November. So we're going to be bringing that back. I'm going to be putting a little bit more thought into those videos, which is nice because I'm not going to be racing to try and get more content out, because the more content thing has made me want to headbutt a coat hook. I'm so far behind the 8 ball that I could barely keep up. Like, I honestly, trying to do all this stuff and focusing so much on making content, I actually lost like 40 pounds earlier this year. I've basically put all that weight back on. So some of it is muscle because I've been in the gym, and a lot of it is right here in the belly. It's just these like little baby wheelies that this bike does, where the front tire gets disconnected enough from the ground for the handlebars to get all cattywampus, and then it sets it right back down and it straightens out. Fucking love this thing. I'm also going to be bringing back the news content, because news stuff is actually really fun. It's how I keep up with the stuff that's going on in the industry. and I would like to share that with y'all again. And a big portion of that is actually driven by the folks on the Discord server who've been dropping news stories, and admittedly I haven't been making videos about them. I have been reading them, but I haven't been making videos about it. I want to go back to doing that. The first one I actually want to make is kind of a blend between news and scripted content, and it's just this thought I've had where basically Triumph has absolutely taken over. They've won the beginner bike game. They're like, it's done. Triumph did it. Their little 400s have absolutely taken over. People are like falling in love with these bikes. I still haven't ridden one. I need to go borrow one from AF1 to make a video on it. The next thing I'm doing is I'm simplifying the bikes that I own. I'm getting rid of a lot of bikes just so that I can have some more room in the garage and get closer to what I think my ideal garage is.
So here's an idea of what my ideal garage actually looks like, and we're pretty darn close to reaching it actually. So as you can see, the Super Duke is standing up on that rear stand there, and it's got wheels all the way around. That those casters are 360 degrees. It's one of those speed metal stands, and I've got the front one over here, which can move in literally any direction. So when I put that stand on the front, I can move the bike around perfectly. So when these three are gone, I'll be down to that, the Tuono, this thing, and then my wife's NK over there, and then maybe whatever giveaway bike we have. And I'll finally be able to turn this garage into a filming studio, which has been something I've wanted to do for so long, but it's just, it hasn't happened because I haven't had any time.
I know this process is going to excite a lot of people who have been telling me to paint the garage forever. I've been meaning to do it, but honestly, I'm less excited about putting paint on the walls as I am lights on the ceiling, because putting lights on the ceiling is going to allow me to actually film in there with the garage door closed, which that's going to make a massive difference. And then if I've scheduled this right, this video is probably going out on January 1st or thereabouts. And I do have a couple of kind of professional New Year's resolutions that I want to get at. First of all, I need to do a lot more track time. My biggest thing that I want to do, my number one goal for 2026 is to get out of the intermediate group. I want to be fast enough to say that I'm in the experienced or advanced. I don't know which one, like how it goes. It's either novice, intermediate, experienced, advanced, or novice, intermediate, advanced, experienced. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. I want to get out of the intermediate group. I'm happy doing my 252 4s at Coda, but I really want to be able to go just a little bit quicker. Secondly, when it comes to reviews, I need to get better about taking myself out of the equation. One of the things that I'm noticing is that when it comes to a lot of bikes, I just don't dig on them. I have a hard time saying that a bike like the BMW R1250 RS that I rode is a good bike, despite the fact that I know it's a good bike. I just don't like it. I'm never going to like it, but I'm going to try to divorce myself a little bit from the actual review of the motorcycle, you know what I mean? So in order to do that, I'm actually probably going to set up kind of like Zach has, a daily rider leaderboard, where I'm gonna like keep an active tally of the bikes that I'm riding, and one of them is going to be bike, ranking, just absolute bike ranking, and then there's going to be a spite score, and that is going to be, where I would put it on a scale of never ride again to own immediately kind of thing. That would be kind of the way that I want to do it. And I think that would just be a good way of taking myself out of the equation while also keeping my own opinion in there, because at the end of the day, I'd reckon that's why people are here. But yeah, that's kind of the long and the short, a quick little channel update heading into 2026. I'm actually really excited about this year. In a couple of weeks, I'm headed down to LA, which I absolutely hate going to LA. LA is a terrible town. Sorry if you live there, but I'm going down there to check out Indian's line of motorcycles. I actually got a call from the folks at Indian. They wanted me to come check out some bikes, so I'm gonna come out and check out some bikes. I'm very excited about it. I specifically requested a Sport Chief to be out there, and I may end up spending an extra day out there so that I can do a Challenger. That I'm really interested in the Sport Chief and the Challenger. I know nothing about those motorcycles. Very excited to check them out. And then I've got a thing coming up with Whitney and Honda that's going to be cool. I've got so many thoughts about that video. It's basically the Rebel 300 E-Clutch edition is coming to the States, and how E-Clutch is sort of taking over the entire Honda lineup. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. And then there's just going to be a plethora, a smattering, a menagerie of motorcycles that come through AF1. They get all sorts of weird shit. I also think we're doing another round of the Aprilia Creator GP, because in 2025 I had the absolute privilege of working with Chase and Ebe, two of the best motovloggers to ever do it. And I had so much fun working with them. We made some fun content together. I think we're doing it again in 26. So either way, I'd love to go make some content with those guys again, because they're just so cool. They're great dudes. There'll definitely be some Whitney stuff on the channel for sure. I'm just bullish on 26, honestly. I'm excited for it. Definitely going to be some changes to the channel. Nothing that you guys need to be worried about, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And I'll catch you guys in 26. I'm going to take some time off. First time I've done it in a while. So there may not be some videos for a week or two. I'm going to go take a cruise, because my wife set that all up months ago. And it's a good opportunity for me to be unplugged for a while. I'm terminally online. I need to step away for a couple of weeks and then come back with my batteries recharged and do some silly motorcycle stuff, like get my VMAX finally running properly. So that's another thing that's gonna happen in 26. I hope. Catch you guys in the next one. See you later.